Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7:30. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blackstock.
Here.
Mr. Knotts.
Here.
Mr. Horn.
Here.
Mr. Patsalis. Oh, no, I'm
He's
sorry. He's excused. Mr. Boda is also excused. Mr. Graham? Can I start again? Really? I don't know what just happened to me. So, Mr. Patsalis and Mr. Boda are excused. Mr. Simons?
Here.
Graham is here.
Okay, we got through that.
No, I don't think so.
Ralph, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ralph. Next we have,
Really, Kenny, I want to do it again.
next thing we have is the approval of the agenda. I'd like to add two things to the agenda, and I'd like to make it at the top would be the Marine City Fire Authority. Deputy Chief wants to talk to us about the insurance, and we'll discuss that when we get into it. And the other thing would be the memorandum from employee Sharon McCullough. We can put that down at 6, or be 7, I guess. We'll move everything down, but we can put Sharon's at the end.
Is part of what, new business or?
Under new business, yes.
Okay,
Both of these would be under new business.
I see, got it.
Anybody else have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
There are none. I'll make a motion. We accept the agenda with the changes.
I'll support. It's been moved and supported that we accept the agenda with the corrections or the additions. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the approval of the May 18, 2015 minutes.
If there's no corrections on them, no one sees any corrections, I'll make a motion that we approve the May 18th, 2015 minutes.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the minutes from May 18th. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to public comment. Anybody in the audience that would like to speak? There's seeing none. Next, we have the consent agenda, which is the C1 April 2015 Marine City Fire Report. C2 is the May 12th, 2015 Planning Commission minutes. C3 is the January 29th, 2015 Sewer and Water Authority minutes. C4 is the April 2015 St. Clair Fire Report. C5 is the estimated revenue and expenditure report through April 30th of 2015.
Got a couple comments. On the estimated revenue and expenditure report, page 29. Let's see if I got this right. Need a couple of marks here. Yeah, just a moment. Not what I wanted. This one's okay. Yeah, page 29. I just want to point out, I know we're working on perhaps having to change the method by which we bill. We haven't got to that point yet, but I would like to show us that, given that this is correct and it's still just the end of April, the water fund is 28 grand in the hole, which means we'd have to cover out a general fund. So we either need to, my point is we need to get on with that change that we're going to make, or we're going to have to raise the water rates to catch up before we get too far in the hole.
And he's coming at the next meeting to discuss that.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Huh?
That's unfortunate. I thought he was going to be here today. Okay, that's all.
Well, they couldn't make it because of their trying to get all their audits done for all the townships, and they have to have them done by the 30th of June?
Well, that's the only comment I have. The rest of the,
Okay,
given it just says it's through April, estimated through April. There are some minor things in there, but overall, budget seems to be in good shape, but just wanted to point that out, that we don't want to get far in the hole and become like some of our surrounding communities that have a big fight when they have to make a really large raise in prices.
I've got one on the first page there. It's on lease of the cellular tower. Is that the one over by the sewer plant?
what was that? Which one are you looking at?
That's page one, right on the front.
On the expenditure and revenue?
Yeah, yes, and there's in parentheses, there's a $44,000 shortage. I was just wondering which one that was. Was that for the new tower gonna go in, or the one at the sewer plant?
I'm thinking that's showing like that because the $50,000 check that we got put in that column. So it's making it look like,
Like a shortage.
Yeah, it's not, Mr. Horn, what the amount budgeted was 7,800. The amount received is 52. So that shows available balance as being negative, and that has bugged me for weeks, but that's the way this report works. If
Okay.
you've got a negative in the available balance, it means you got more money than you thought you were going to get.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
And we did get more than we thought we were gonna get from that cell tower.
and she's got it down as negative.
but it's, right, it's not actually the lease money.
Okay,
That 50,000 is not lease money. So I'm thinking it really shouldn't have been put this way into the lease.
I'll check that out in the
But
morning.
that is the tower at the sewer plant then?
Yes.
Okay.
And we finally got that money. I think we reported that a couple months ago. that we
Yeah,
got that.
Yeah, they finally got the check right and got us the money. It was last
Okay,
month.
is any other questions on the consent agenda?
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented. Wow.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we accept the consent agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to disbursements, we have bills of $83,508.37. We have payroll of $467.22. We have another payroll of $19,246.73. And we have ACH payments of $40,698.41 for a total disbursement of $145,920.73.
If there are no questions, I'll make a motion that we pay the bills in the amount of $145,920.73.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported that we pay the bills, $145,920.73. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Simons,
Yes.
Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Knotts,
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock.
Yes.
Cram, yes.
Motion carries. Pay the bills. Next, we have, under new business, we have the Marine City Fire Authority Assistant Chief Dave Van de Bosch. And what he's going to talk to you about is, if you remember, I brought this up a couple of months ago about how some other communities are using Acclimate to recover cost from fire runs for non-residents, like traffic accidents and different things. So what Dave is going to present to us is how they do it, how they fill out the forms, and then all we have to do is put them on our letterhead and bill the people. And hopefully we get our money from the insurance companies.
I've got an example, Chief Lankster made up an example of how it would look. We sent it to you, or this is basically off an Acumed billing sheet, and that we just send to you guys just as this information, so you guys could, get cost recovery for it. This is just how it would look when we send it to you guys. It's not a bill from us, but it's just an example of what it would look like for cost recovery program. A lot of the surrounding communities are doing this just because of the cost. There's a segment in a lot of the insurances that allow us to do this, and it's an area that the township
Go to
could
the
minimize.
microphone.
The township could minimize the cost of the fire service. And it's already preset into a lot of the auto insurance.
Okay. And also, under our ordinance, it says that we can bill for expenses that are incurred when we bring in fire department or police department. So, I mean.
I'm not familiar with your, you know,
Correct, but I'm,
so-
not- just for the public to know,
Right.
our residents to know that we have that in our ordinance. We really haven't done that much unless you exceed your 2 free runs, then we would bill you. So I think this is a good way to help us pay for some of our fire department. We're not raising any rates or anything.
That's usually covered under the insurance anyhow.
Like Dave said, most of the insurance companies have it, but we have never gone after it. So,
It's about time we should.
I have a question. Since we are involved with both a St. Clair Fire Authority and a Marine City Fire Authority, shouldn't any run in East China be already billed to the insurance companies through the fire authorities?
no, it is not. And I've also talked to Chief Westrick in St. Clair, and he's gonna do the same thing that Marine City's gonna do for us. They're gonna fill out a form similar to this,
We put it on our letterhead and we send it to the
and
insurance.
we send it to the insurance company,
To the owner, not the insurance company.
the insurance company,
The owner, the individual that was in the accident, their insurance company.
their insurance company, not our insurance company, no.
No, I mean,
Their
we don't
insurance
send it
company.
directly to the owner, or do we send it?
I believe it goes directly to the insurance company, doesn't it?
Usually it's billed to the person,
Oh,
and they need to submit it.
Right,
Oh,
we wouldn't
okay.
have their insurance.
No, because we
information.
wouldn't get,
no, we will
get,
have their insurance information.
we do get their insurance information, but due to the fact we don't normally bill the insurance company, it's something that
We probably,
the person involved in the accident, or, you know, in some cases, fires have to then submit that to their insurance company as a claim.
we probably got quite a few people with, they get the insurance when they get their license, then cancel it, and they might not have insurance. What are we gonna do then?
That's gonna be up to the board.
We're not gonna collect on all these, I mean, you're gonna still have, we still have it the way we have, we still have loopholes in it.
And it's a hardship case that can be decided by,
Right,
be brought to your board.
but you're saying we do bill the residents, not the company, and it's
Correct.
up to them to submit it
I
to
mean,
the-
that's totally up to how you guys are gonna do it. I mean, we're gonna submit suggested charges for
Is that
what
what's
we
done
use.
in other communities, they bill,
Well, we bill the person for Cotterville. China doesn't bill. Marine City's still working on their system for doing it, for cost recovery. And Cotterville's actually minimized. They used to bill for every call. Now they're down to what we would consider like a general call, PI accident or a fire. Nothing involving medicals anymore.
Mr. Supervisor, just a quick question. So this would not apply to our residents as long as they did not exceed their 2 runs.
correct.
So an example would be a fire at their residence and a car accident in the township, that would be
Be 2.
considered their 2 runs. Anything above that, they would then.
And that goes by addresses.
Okay.
Right, and we're already doing the over 2 to our residents.
If they go over
This
2,
is-
we bill them now.
Okay, so this is primarily for out of township.
Out of town, or if we were to have a hazmat, I mean, that would be, these numbers you can see, you look under hazmat, I mean, they start out at $1,500 bucks.
exactly.
I mean, we could have a lot of out-of-pocket to the township.
Especially, the billing started originally with hazmat that involved OUILs. That's how this has been, you know, billing through the fire service has been, you know, it's escalated due to the cost of the equipment and running the departments. And it's just a way to help the cost recovery program.
Do you have any idea, just, I know you don't have exact numbers, just roughly, how many do you believe we would have out of township?
That I'd
residents?
have to have no clue on that.
Okay.
Because we only cover half of your jurisdiction, I don't know
I
what.
think it would be a small number. I mean, percentage-wise, probably less than 20%, I would think. But those could be a big 20% if it was to be a hazmat.
Oh,
You know, a
exactly.
couple trucks
The
have a
tanker truck
collision
has
out
that,
here.
yeah.
You know, we could have a,
Yeah, well, 29 being a state highway, you could have anything coming down it.
Especially with the plants right there.
Right.
You don't know what's being hauled, you know. And we are a big line for anhydrous ammonia being hauled over the ferry in Marine City.
but other communities are using this Aquanet, and we're not gonna use them. We're gonna start out doing it direct. We'll just take the sheet that we get from both fire departments, and we'll transpose it onto our letterhead, and then we will mail it out and see what we get. And we can keep track of what we get. And I personally, being on both fire authorities, and Don could speak to that too, but he's not here. I think it's a good thing. I think it's something we should be doing. I mean, other communities are doing it, and,
Yeah, we should have been doing it in the past.
right. And it's in the ordinance that we have. It's kind of a gray area, but I mean, it's a gray area for a reason, so.
Especially with auto accidents, you know, the
Right.
insurance from the cars, they've already got it.
Right. I mean, we don't want to deny anybody service. We don't want to do that. If somebody's hurt or that, we want to take care of them. But I still think the township should be able to recoup some of our costs. So,
Well, that's why we put it, after 2 calls, then we start billing our own residents. You get 2 free ones every 12 months.
right, that's what we have
Yeah.
right now.
This is, it seems to me primarily is just a good cover for the possibility of a hazmat. Because
Right.
Other than that, the charges, it's very low in non-residents, and if it's just an auto accident, the cost is very low. However, one hazmat one would make up for this whole thing, so it's a good thing to have in our pocket.
But I don't really think we as a board need a motion after reading the ordinance the way I read it. I had a couple other people read it. I think it's in there right now that we can bill them.
Oh, yeah,
So I don't think we have to go through the whole,
I
the
agree.
ordinance thing and amend the ordinance, because I think it covers that pretty clearly, at least the way I read it. So that's why I wanted Dave or Joe to come and at least show you one of these forms and see how it's gonna go. I'd also like to say thanks to the fire authority, both of them. I mean, you guys do a great job and a lot to do, and I think we really work together as a communities, that we're getting the 4 communities together in the Marine City and the 4 communities in St. Clair. I think we're all working towards a common goal, is to get cheaper fire coverage, and
We really appreciate working with Larry. He sets the tone on our board, and it's very easy for us to work with. We have no issues. I mean, it's a very, very good board. They have questions, we answer them. We really don't go without, and if we need something, they take good care of us. I mean,
well, and the firemen, I mean, if we need something, these firemen, they'll go to work and they'll have can drives, car washes, whatever they can to raise the money, and a perfect example is the boat. I mean, you guys paid for almost half of the boat, if not half of it, and then the fire authority kicked in the other half. So, I mean, saved us a lot of money, and same with some of the smaller equipment. You guys take it out of your money, and
but in another thing, you got the different municipalities have helped us out by a way we've changed, that we actually use a rollover system, the liability program. If we are cost conscious with our funds, that we can use it to move forward for, say, the purchase of this truck that we just purchased, instead of having to come back to you later on and say, hey, we need more money. But that's also through good leadership through
Right.
our board. But if this wasn't, if we didn't, that program is going to yield
Oh.
exponentially in the future, because we need to, in 5 years, change an engine, which, because of NFPA standards, we won't have an engine less than 20 years old. And
I went to a meeting a couple weeks ago with the emergency management, Jeff Freeland, and the main topic of that meeting was talking about hazmat and talking about firemen and the equipment. In St. Clair County, we have a potential to have hazmat, and we don't have that many firemen. They did a survey of all the fire departments, and personnel-wise, we're pretty good shape in Marine City and St. Clair, but there's other communities that can't get trained firemen. They don't want to go into the field because of all the training or whatever. So there may come a day when we can't get these firemen, so they're talking about the big picture here would not this year or 10 years, but eventually we're going to have to group together some of these fire departments like we have with the fire authorities, get some of these other bigger departments that got ladder trucks. I mean, what are the ladder trucks, like $700 and some thousand?
Yeah, Marysville just had theirs refurbished for $500,000.
Yeah, and we just can't afford to all have ladder trucks and all have this, so.
And mutual aid pack is the way we're handling it now, but if St. Clair doesn't have anybody and Algonac doesn't have anybody, then who do you call for assistance? And you have
There's
to
one
get
in
there.
St. Clair County that has the equipment and has no firemen.
Right now, we're extremely blessed with Joe Slangster's leadership. We're right around 25 to 28 members, and our max is 35, so we're doing very well. And we even have a segment that works nights, which means we always have firemen in the area, which wasn't the case at all times. Now we're 60-40, which is a high number to have people around during the day. So
That's good.
I'd like to make a comment. Even before the fire authority was formed, Marine City always did a fantastic job of protecting the people here in the township.
thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I think they do a good job. Well, anybody else have any other questions on how we're gonna do this billing? And I'll relay this to our office staff on how we want to do that. And we'll work together with Dave and Joe, and I think we can get it done and see how it works. I mean, I think it's nothing but a win-win. I mean,
Worth a try.
okay?
And after the meeting, like, I brought the new truck so everybody can come out and take a look at it.
Oh, okay, if you want to stay, yeah, all right.
Thank you.
We're gonna be a little while. Okay, thank you, Dave. All right, moving on, next we have the, be item 2. Everything moves down.
I think we're on new business.
Under new business, we're gonna talk about the $14,080 for workman comp.
Yeah.
Coverage through July 1. This is what our payment is. We have to have the workman's comp by law, so,
And we got a dividend last year.
what was that, Ralph?
I said, we got a dividend.
Yeah, we gotta do it. I mean,
Got a little bit of money back. Okay, I'll make a motion that we pay the workman's comp for the period 1 July 2015 to 30 June 2016 in the amount of $14,080.
I'll support.
I've been moving in support of that. We pay the workman's compensation coverage, $14,080. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Horn.
Yes.
Mr. Knotts.
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock.
Yes.
Cram, yes. Mr. Simons.
Yes. Motion carries. Moving on to item 3 under new business is the sewer credit request. Well, I'm having trouble speaking. It must be catching me.
It rubbed off on you, I'm sorry.
As you can see, it's from Mr. Mark Schillings. I'll read the letter real quick. I'm writing this letter in reference to the above location in regards to a broken water line under the crawl space. I was informed by my tenant in front house that the water was coming from under the house in the back that is currently empty. Sunday, March 1st, I responded, discovered the water in the crawl space and was up to the floor. I called the water department. Blaine arrived within a half an hour. Blaine found the gate valve, shut the water off after the meter. Blaine could not find the outside water shutoff. Yesterday, I received a phone call from Teresa from the township who advised me that the water loss was approximately 85,000 gallons and advised me to write a letter to the board for an exemption on the sewer credit due to the fact the water didn't go through the sewer. Any consideration in this matter would be appreciated.
We do this for just about everyone and seeing, I seen Blaine Siska checked it out and signed this paper, so I'd like to make the motion that he, get a credit of $395.20
Support,
on his sewer.
support.
I say it's been moved and supported that we give the request for the sewer credit to Mr. Schillings. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blackstock?
Yes.
Mr. Knotts?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Graham, yes. Mr. Simons?
Yes, motion carries. Moving on to the MTA annual dues. Which are $5,397.20. That's with that legal defense, and I don't think we
We don't
get
use-
that.
we
We
don't.
usually omit that legal defense, so it would be $5,240. But it's up to whoever wants to make the motion.
We use these guys quite a bit, and I think it's valuable that we continue our membership in this township association. I do not think we need the legal defense. We've never done it before. So I'd make a motion that we pay our dues to the Michigan Township Association in the amount of $5,240.
I'll support.
I've been moved and supported that we pay the annual dues for the MTA, but not the legal defense, and the amount is $5,240. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock?
Yes.
Mr. Knotts?
Yes.
Graham, yes. Mr. Simons?
Yes, motion carries. All right, next we're moving on to item 5, discuss Township Hall and Cemetery Chapel roof bids. As you know, a month or so ago, we opened these bids, and I told you I would get back. I've contacted both the contractors, done a lot of homework on this. I've got some of the samples behind us. These are the timberline shingles that we bid. See those, Mr. Hall? You're familiar with these, sir, the timberlines? Okay. That's what we bid on the bid. That's what both the bids that we had were for. Bringing in Mr. Gillette, he says he would like to use these. These are PBs, Everest 42s, or Canadian shingle. Personally, when I put them on the side, it looks like they're a little thinner to me, so. But our bid was for these timberlines, these GAFs. Okay, so, we actually only had, let's talk about the Township Hall
Did
first.
he bid on the timber lines and?
Everybody bid the timberlines.
Okay.
Yep. We'll talk about the Township Hall first. If you recall, the bids were, TMG were for $17,900. Okay? The bids for C.R. Smith Contractor was $20,105. All right, I had both those companies come in, and I talked to them, and they told me what they were gonna do, and I had them bring these shingle samples in. The other thing was I had them bring their insurances in. What I've got before me here is C.R. Smith's, who's insured by Great Lakes Insurance Company. He has commercial general liability. He has workman's comp. What's the other one? TMG, he's got insurance, but he doesn't have no workman's comp. Then we got a letter today from the Department of Labor and Growth, and it says that Mr. Gillette is a LLC, a limited liability corporation, and he doesn't need to have the workman's comp, but he would be the only one on the roof. If anybody else is working for him, then they have to have the workman's comp. And this is what he sent me. according to this, he doesn't have the workman's comp.
Is he gonna pick the workman's comp up?
They sent this other thing here. I mean, I told him to send me his insurance. I didn't get a hold of him today. Says, please see the following document for TMJ Holding LLC from Todd Glett. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I also contacted our insurance company, and he suggested that we do not hire anybody that doesn't have workman's comp.
Because we'll get nailed for it.
Right. If somebody falls, we're gonna be in trouble.
We'll be responsible. I mean, that's what,
So I don't know if you want me to, is it our obligation to go back to Mr. Glett and say, are you gonna purchase workman's comp for this job?
I would, because he's almost $3,000 less.
Is it three? I didn't add it up. Don.
Pretty close. It's 20, it's over 2.
yeah, but we've been back twice. This is getting ridiculous.
No,
Yeah.
this is
I
the
can't see
second
him
time.
being able to roof and take down all the shingles and do everything that needs to be done all by himself on the roof. And if another body's going on the roof, then he needs the workers' comp, or we can't use him. So
Yeah.
that, to me, that would take him out of the running, and then we only have one bid.
I think you should give him the opportunity to purchase the comp.
Personally, I think
he's
the
a
bid's
low bidder.
incomplete.
Huh?
The bid's incomplete. If he doesn't have it, and he hasn't presented it right off of at the beginning,
Because those weren't in the specs that he had.
Yes,
to
they
have,
were. The specs were, you
Okay.
have to have insurance.
Yeah, insurance.
Right.
But was the workman's comp in there?
I can't remember if I put the workman's, but I mean, that's
I think-
basically what we're looking for is
I think
workman's
you
comp.
should, you should give him the opportunity. If he wants to purchase it, if he don't, then that's up to him.
Okay.
I
then-
agree with her. Bid's incomplete. I mean, he's had ample opportunity. You get into a problem when you're going to asking for bids, and you keep going back and letting people modify them. You get what you get. I also have a problem with the fact that he's stating that he'll be the only guy on the roof.
Thing
I
is-
have some problem with that as being whether or not that's a good idea here in the township as
Thing is,
an adequate contractor.
Larry just said he didn't know if the workman's comp was into the bid, so I would give him the opportunity to go.
Well, he did give him the opportunity to
I called him in,
provide
and
the insurance,
when
and
I
he did
talked to
not.
him personally on the phone, I said, bring your insurance in. And he said, he didn't bring it in when he came, he said he would get it faxed over to me, and they faxed it over to me. And this is what they faxed me, and it doesn't say anything about workman's comp.
There's quite a difference in that price.
Well, workman's comp is what costs the money.
I don't know if it'll cost that much. That's up to him.
And there was such a thing as where they could sign off of the workman's comp, but he can only sign off the workman's comp if he's the only person doing the roof.
I don't feel that's adequate.
Well, what's your pleasure?
there were only the two?
All we had on the township roof was the two. We had TMG Services and we had C.R. Smith.
As the only responsive bidder to include all the insurances, I make a motion that we award the contract to roof the town hall to C.R. Smith in the amount of $20,105.
I support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported that we give the contract for the roof for $20,105.
Yes.
$105 to C.R. Smith. Is there any further discussion on that?
I do have one question.
Okay,
I thought there was an issue regarding ventilation. were there questions asked regarding any additional ventilation?
yes, that was the big discussion that I had with him. According to Mr. Glett, he showed me where he thinks it's vented there. We actually went up in the attic and looked. He really can't see if some of the insulation flew down into the soffits. He thinks there's venting there. When I had the American Metal roof up there, he said that the moisture was really low, real low up there, so there hasn't been a moisture problem up there. I don't know. Like, Mr. Smith said that he's worked on the township hall numerous times since we built it, replacing siding and stuff like that. he said he thinks that's how, I'm pretty sure he said he thought there wasn't a ventilation problem there. The problem with the shingles was they were defective shingles, and we've got a settlement. Do you remember that settlement that we got? I believe it was
remember the
$2,500 or $3,500 we got on these shingles because they were rolling up, so.
Okay.
I've beat myself up on this soffit stuff, and I'm not getting nowhere fast.
All right.
Unless we want to tear everything off and put these soffit vents in, which this roof has lasted on here since, what, over 20-some years, 26 years, I think it was.
Okay. Thank you.
So, okay, we have a motion to give the roof to C.R. Smith, and a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Blackstock.
Yes.
Mr. Knotts.
Yes.
Mr. Horn.
I'm gonna vote no because I think we should give him a chance to, see if he'll purchase his insurance.
Cram, yes.
I'm a little
Mr.
bitter.
Simons.
Yes. All right, now we're moving on to the motion approved. Moving on to the chapel. We had 3 bids on the chapel. First bid is TMG Services of $6,900. The second was C.R. Smith, $6,125.
Can you tell me that number again? I'm sorry.
What was that?
Tell me the number again.
$6,125. And the other one was Zimmer Roofing and Construction. And that was, the only one they turned in was the bid on the chapel, and that was $7,125. Again, we're looking at the liability. We don't have the liability with TMG, so.
But C.R. Smith was low at 6,125.
Yes.
He was the low bid, too.
All right, I make the motion, we award the
Smith was.
chapel roof to C.R. Smith.
Smith was the lower bid.
Smith
Support.
was a- What did you?
I made the motion, we award the project for the chapel roof to C.R. Smith in the amount of $6,125.
Been moved and supported that we give the bid to C.R. Smith for the chapel for $6,125. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Horn.
Yes, I'm gonna vote yes on that one because he's a little bitter.
Mr. Knotts.
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock.
Yes.
Cram, yes. Mr. Simons.
Yes. Motion carries.
Who supported that motion?
Mr. Knotts.
Okay, next we have the item 6 under new business assessing agreement with Mark Miano. You should have that in your packet. His contract expires, I believe it's the 23rd of June. 15th of June. No, excuse me. This one run from the 9th through the... It'll become effective on the it expires on the 23rd, it'll be effective on the 24th. What this is, if you read the back, this is what Mark presented to me. His agreement expires. This is his current contract. What he does, he works 3 days a week, 3 hours a day, 5 days a week for 15 hours. He's proposing that he goes to 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, and he comes in at 8 o'clock until 11:30, which is 14 hours a week. He's talking about the same money as far as the length of the agreement. He's open to whatever the board wants, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. He says he would accept whatever term we wanted to go.
Larry, he's a contract employee, does he get full benefits
He gets full benefits.
for a contract employee working 15 hours a week? I don't know. We haven't paid any of the other ones that work part-time, full benefits, and he's a contractor. So this is altogether a different situation.
Well, it's a specialized field that he's in. I mean,
Should be put out for bids. I don't see a clause in there in case he wants to quit. There's no clause to give us time to advertise if he terminates the contract either.
correct, yeah, he
There
could
should be a
retire and
clause.
just say, give us
That's
notice. I pulled the original contract too.
I think there should be a clause in there where it gives us some time to advertise.
We can add in what we want.
Now, Mr. Mariano has been an excellent assessor for us. We've had no problems. If you look around some of the other townships around here, if you've been reading the newspapers, we've had absolutely no problems. He does the work very well. I don't see any necessity for the board to be rocking the boat at this point. This is not a big change. He's actually asking basically for a continuation of the same thing he has done in the past, except for a change in office hours. I have no problem with this at all.
I've known Mark for about 30 years. I have no problem with his work. It's just the contract that him getting full benefits with 15 hours a week.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yes, it is. Plus he's getting a little raise because he's cutting it down to 14 hours a week instead
Well,
of 15.
I should requote that as far as the money. If you read in here, he follows the union contract. If they get money, he gets money.
That's right.
That's what's written in here.
So he's cutting it back to 14 hours a week instead of 15.
Well, we can add, I looked at that too, Don, and I thought if we made him work until 11:45, the 4 days, that would get us back
Get
to our
the same hours.
15 hours.
Is he paid by the hour?
He is.
Yes, he
Well, it doesn't
is.
make any difference. If he's getting 14 hours, he's gonna get 1 hour less pay than he got last time, right?
Correct, yeah.
I guess you're right, Rob.
Yep, yeah, we could do that.
He's paid by the hour.
Yeah.
He's the one that's taking the cut.
She had him down in the statements there for a while back, that his rate was $45 an hour.
No, it's $40.51. I got this paycheck right
Okay.
here.
So he's gonna, if he works 1 hour less, he's gonna take a $40 a week pay cut.
But then, in essence, it goes to what Mr. Horn is saying, you know, we're paying somebody full benefits for 14 hours a week,
That's right.
you know?
I think that was part of the deal we got.
I think it
for
was
him-
too.
To get him to be able to work for the township in the first place.
It's hard to find a part-time assessor.
He's retired from China Township. He's probably getting benefits from over there.
He's not, he never got no benefits from China.
I know
I'm
you
sort
looked,
of
you
against,
looked into that, Larry. I
I'm
mean.
sort of against giving them the benefits because you're talking a lot of money there with the benefits. Another, probably $15,000 to $17,000 a year.
Well, could we do something like just for a year? Extend his contract for a year?
Was
Under
this
these-
last contract for 3 years?
If you extend it, that's what I was going to propose, just let him go for 1 year, but we should have something in there, in a clause in there that he's got to give us time if he wants to terminate it, so we can advertise. There's nothing in there that I see where there was no clause. He could walk out on us and we'd be stuck.
It wasn't on the original one.
Was it 3 years in the original?
Yes, that-
Well, given his
He's
pa-
punching the time clock now?
No.
Given his past performance, I see no reason why we should not approve this for, continue his employment here as our assessor. And frankly, I would like to keep him here for as long as we, given his past performance, for as long as we can. And if he's willing to accept a 3-year extension to his present contract, I think we should give it to him.
Well, I'd like to just go ahead and make a motion that we just rehire him for 1 year. 'Cause I'm worried about this, we're setting a precedent here with this insurance.
It's already been set. I mean, how long has he been working here?
We got other employees that are working more hours a week and getting nothing. They're working up to 29, I believe it is, a week.
32.
Is it 32 now?
But we are with a contract with him, we're not,
He's not there, yeah, he's
Well,
he's our only contracted employee.
We should treat them like the other contractors.
those other people are not contractors, they're just.
We don't have any
they're
other
just selling
contractors
their
now.
I know there's summer help.
You know, he's with us all year long, 12 months out of the year, which there's a lot to do. The one thing that I was asked, and Dee brought it up too, about the punching the clock, he's the only employee that's not punching the clock, and it would help make our records a lot cleaner if we knew when he took his vacation and he took his other time off. So I guess I can do that as an administrative, have him do that. But we have a motion for one, but we don't have a second.
I just still have a question. The original contract, because we're just amending the original contract, so we're not actually reading that. It gave him the insurance in the original contract.
Mhm.
And he's been here since 2009.
4, I believe.
Oh,
was
so
the
there was
first one.
even one before this then?
Yes.
So he's been here over 10 years in this agreement,
Right.
so it's not like it's a big surprise.
Right. I don't know where I put that.
But it says the assessor is not a party to or entitled to any of the benefits or provisions of the administration.
He had a 1-year contract to begin with, from June 24th of '02 to June 23rd of '03. That was his first contract. Then he went, then he had a 3-year extension till '06. And then from 6, he had another 3-year extension to '09. Then in '09, he had an extension, a 1-year extension to '10 with a 3% raise. And in '10, we gave him a 2-year contract plus the union contract percentage. And then in '12, he got a 3-year extension in '12 with the union contract. So he's had 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it doesn't matter to me. I would say maybe a 2-year would be better, because that'll get us through the union
Because he's
contract.
getting close to retiring, and
Right. I kind of like a 2-year, but, well, we have a motion, we have no second, so that motion drops.
I'll make a motion that we extend Mr. Miana's contract for a period of 3 years under the same provisions.
I'll support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported that we extend his contract for 3 years at the same, at the same rate, but he will work the four days a week, 14 hours. And if he wants the 15, then he's gonna have to work the extra 15 minutes. So is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Mr. Blackstock?
Yeah, I think we better roll call that.
Yes.
Mr. Knotts?
Yes,
Mr. Horn?
no,
Cram, yes. Mr. Simons?
Yes? Motion carries. All right, moving on to item 7. You have before you a memorandum from Deputy Clerk Sharon McCullough, and she is resigning from the township. as an employee, and she's retiring. Her final date will be June 12th. She's also retiring, she's withdrawing, she's immediately resigning from the Sewer and Water Authority, effective immediately. The only thing I got to say, Sharon's been a great employee for a lot of years. I don't want to see her go without the union, well, we have a problem with the union insurance on the non-represented people when they retire. So I feel that we can't let her go until we have some kind of insurance policy in place, whether it be a stipend or pay for a monthly amount. I've got Cornerstone working on that. He was supposed to get back to me last week. Here it is Monday, I haven't heard back, so that's my feelings on it. And maybe Ms. Graham would like to elaborate or put in anything on that?
Well, I am in agreement with you. We definitely want to make sure that she has her insurance coverage. It's always been the policy that the retirees get the package, the 50/50 package. I don't know how we have to work that as far, because in order to keep her on the policy we have now, we have to keep her as an employee. And so I want to make sure that we can make that happen. Make sure that she's covered. I don't want her to have to worry about something like that.
I hate to see her go. I talked to her the other day. She's been here 35 years.
I know.
It's amazing.
Has Cornerstone,
Never had another problem with her all along.
has Cornerstone given you any idea in terms of their timeline other than?
He told me,
supposedly
I let Dee
getting back
read the
with you
email,
last
he
week?
says he'll have, that was mailed on he sent that to me on the 22nd. I just looked it up again tonight, and, but I will get a hold of him tomorrow. I mean, I think we got some time on this, because we'll have another meeting on the 15th, which is the following Monday after this 12th.
Well, I guess my concern is there, that's Cornerstone's job, but is there anything else we have to worry about once we select an insurance plan, or, I mean, are they looking for insurance plans?
That's what
for
he's
us?
doing.
Okay.
Or, I think Ralph and I talked about
Yeah,
it too.
I would certainly recommend we do not get into the insurance business.
Right.
We come up with a policy.
Come up with a number.
We come up with a number based on a reasonable policy for a retired
So you're
person.
talking
And
reimbursement.
we give a stipend of half of that amount. And also then we have to have a idea of what we're going to do once they go on to Medicare. There should be also a policy as to what we will do when a person transitions into Medicare, how much and what kind of support we will get. And I would think it would be similar to what the union does now.
Yes. I want it to be as good as.
How
What
did,
we're-
what did Jim Light get when he went out?
I have no idea.
Mr. Light,
Yeah, he was a board member. He
Yeah, but he
retired.
he's not an employee.
I don't know.
See, right now, Don, where we run into the problem was when Jim and Mike McLeod, when both of them retired, if they wouldn't have joined the union,
Oh, I
they
know that.
wouldn't have got
There's no way she could get into that union contract then, is there?
No.
No, I don't think we want to do that. I think like what Ralph says, I think we should give her the same amount of money that we're paying for the union people. She should get that much at least,
Well, she should.
you know?
Other than,
She's gotta have
things have
something.
changed since, recently with what is known as Obamacare. It's going to be required to come up with some kind of insurance. With our help from Cornerstone, I don't see it being great difficulty of us being able to determine the 50/50 share of something.
Correct.
But we should not be having any kind of a responsibility for purchasing township insurance.
Right.
Not for retirees.
We have township insurance for all the active people through the union, but it just when they retire, they don't want to take any more retirees. This could be an isolated case too, because the next negotiations, we could probably be talking about that, I would think,
I would certainly think so.
you know?
My next question what
hate
is
to
our
see her- I
contingency
hate to
plan
see her
for her
leave.
replacement?
She's got her time in.
Ms. Graham, you're the keeper of the records.
Well, at this point, I've just been in contact with the auditors to figure out because recently we've already moved some of the duties. We've been moving some of the duties for the last year and a half, and so what we're down to now is after this audit, they were supposed to be looking through that stuff to tell me, what do I need? Do I need a full-time person? Do I need to extend, we have a part-time person in now, can we extend their hours and be covered? What do we actually need? And that's what I'm waiting to find out the answer to. But we're covered as far as everything will keep running, we're gonna be fine, we just have to move some duties around and then decide what we need.
Okay.
I think we're gonna be in a turmoil for quite a while because she was a very, very important part of our,
Maybe we should think of getting maybe somebody to come in here and give us a time study in the office and see what the hell's going on in there.
make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we have someone come in and have a time study. They can tell us-
We've gotta talk about Sharon first before we can take that motion. We haven't completed this. That's a whole nother matter, what you're talking about there, Mr. Horn. So what do we want to do with this? Do we want to accept this resignation and retirement, or pending getting her the insurance, or? Because I don't want to let her go and then,
I think he should probably reject it until we get something on the insurance.
I think we can take it pending the insurance. I think we got to have the insurance in place.
We gotta have something for her.
Are we all in agreement about the insurance? Do we want to have, not the insurance, but
A plan.
a plan? It doesn't necessarily have to be insurance, but it has to be something where she's compensated so she can go out and buy it.
That's right, she's gotta have something.
All right, do we have to do these two things as separate, or this is just notify, because we're not the sewer and water authority?
Correct,
We
yeah.
don't have to make a motion on that.
We don't have to do anything with the sewer and water. I don't think so, do we, Ralph? That's your,
No, the township might want to consider
another
appointing
appointment.
somebody else, getting another member.
Where would we get that member, Ralph? Do you suggest a board member or another employee or
Could
a
be-
resident?
I would say it could be any of the above.
Okay.
Township member, we have, right now, we have two board members and Mr. Light. And I think we're supposed to have four from East China and one from China, is how the board is constructed. I'd have to dig out the.
All right, I can get
It
you
says right in the.
in the bylaws.
The bylaws as to how many you gotta have from each one. If you have someone who is working in finance in township, in lieu of Miss McCullough, that might be a reasonable appointment, but it's not necessary. We still have to have the information, whether we have someone there or whether it comes on a piece of paper, it doesn't make much difference. It could be another resident, Mr. Light's been on quite a while, ex-board member, but he isn't just a resident now.
Right. Well, we can appoint somebody, I'll appoint somebody to that, either
I mean,
be an
if
employee.
somebody who was interested in that sort of thing, it would be great to have, someone who's
Right.
interested in the, keeping the operations of the sewer and water for East China Township as first class. Anybody who's interested, contact Mr. Simons.
Correct. Okay. But back to the resignation. How about a motion, I'll make a motion that we accept the resignation of Miss Sharon McCullough pending the insurance plan be in place prior to her going.
I'll support.
Does that sound like something reasonable? All right, it's been moved and supported that we accept the resignation pending a insurance plan for June 12th. Is there any further discussion?
I'm gonna put insurance plan or stipend.
Right, well, a plan, yeah. I don't want to, I
Okay.
guess I shouldn't say insurance plan. Well, the plan could be the stipend. Stipend, yeah.
Okay.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I think it's important that Ms. McCullough understands it is the intention of this board to provide health insurance on a 50-50 basis, similar to the manner in which we do our union employees for our retired non-union employees. We just haven't quite got the thing packaged together yet, but it is the intention of this board to do that.
Correct. I'm glad you reinforced that, because that's how I feel exactly, Ralph. I don't
She's
want to
she's
let her
gotta
go
have-
without insurance.
She's gotta have something.
She's got to have something. Okay, after 35 years.
Yeah, because the last one's.
And she will be sorely missed, I'll tell you. Okay, moving on to, that's it with the announcements. The only announcements I have is that, I don't know if-
Just one moment, I
Okay.
think we do need to officially accept her resignation.
But I asked about
From the
that
Sewer and
because-
Water Authority, because she is the one of the East China representatives. So I think this board has to accept her resignation
okay, so
to
why,
to the Sewer and Water Authority.
okay,
And she's done a very good job on that for several years, and with reluctance, I will make that motion.
Support.
it's been moved and supported that we accept the immediate resignation from the Sewer and Water Authority from Sharon McCullough. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next we'll move on to announcements. As you know, we had another 36-year employee retire, Mike McLeod. He's officially done on the first of the month, which is today. I'd like to wish him well. He's done many, many, many years of good service to this township. I think it's the only job he actually ever had, that he was regular on. And he's worked his way up from the bottom to the top and done a great job. And Mike's just a nice guy. I wish him well in his retirement.
Hear, hear.
And we will be having Mike come in one meeting to present him with a plaque and a little gift. The other thing, we have the summer rec sign up. I don't know if people are getting their kids in here to sign up on the summer rec. And that's the end of the announcements. I guess moving on to member comments. Mr. Horn.
I'd like to have Mike McLeod have a good retirement, probably as good as mine. Because I've got as many years retired as I did working, so. And also, I want to make a comment that they did finish the bridge finally on Point Drive. And I noticed out in the front here, is that contractor ever going to straighten that lawn out where he?
Yeah, I had them, Blaine and them were gonna put some dirt in there too. Yeah, we're working on that, yeah,
Yeah, he should spread some topsoil in there because he's got it all dug up.
right.
Don't look nice. That's all I have tonight.
Okay, Ms. Graham,
No, I'm good for tonight.
Mr. Blackstock?
Just thank you very much to Mike for all his years of services, and Sharon as well. Good luck.
Ralph?
Yes, I'd like to echo Herb, thanking Mike McLeod for his many years of service. I've been working with him as a member of the Water and Sewer Authority. He's always got his stuff together. But as I mentioned last time, all our reports have always been clean. We have some of the best water in the whole area. And it's due not only but to his being persistent about making things right. One other comment I have, we have a swing set in the Manor Park over there off of Riverside Drive. I mentioned that the swings needed to be repaired. Well, they've all been taken down, including the brand-new ones. They were over there yesterday and, 2 days ago, and we're doing some painting. But I ain't quite sure what they painted, because pieces of it's black, a piece of it's yellow, and some of it's still rusty. There's nobody been there today. I'm hoping the people coming over, and they're looking at the thing, and where's the swings? So I hope they're gonna get that fixed up fairly soon. At least they could do is bring back the 2 baby swings that were brand new and put them back up.
Yeah, they told me, I reported that to them, that the swings, the chains were bad, and they said they had to change and they were gonna replace them.
Good,
But-
please do.
Yeah, why aren't we doing it, huh?
Nothing else.
Oh, I got a couple things. One is the Point Drive Bridge, with great delay that we've had on that. I've been over it several times. It's pretty nice right now. I think they did a good job on it. The other thing is, we have our base coat on Springborn Road. I don't know if anybody's been down there, but that's getting paved. I think they gotta put the finish coat on that probably this week. And again, I'd like to say thanks again to Mike McLeod and to Sharon McCullough. I mean, there's 70 years of experience we're gonna be losing here in the township. And I'd also like to congratulate again, I don't know if everybody's aware, I know the board is, but the residents, that Dwayne Loper is the new water plant superintendent. Very sharp guy. I think he's gonna do a good job for the township. With that, that's all I have. I guess a motion to adjourn is in order.
I'll make that motion at 8:37.
Support.
Been moved and supported that we adjourn at 8:37. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.